Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning is State Representative Regan Deering. Good morning, Regan.
Good morning, Seth. Thanks for having me
for
on this
sure.
great Monday.
Oh, great Monday for sure. Thanks for making time for us as always. And diving right into things in Springfield. I know November election, you won your election in the area, and then of course, sworn in January. How are things going?
Yes, we had inauguration on January 8th, and then we had one day in the Capitol before about a 2-week break to just sort of get oriented in our districts, etc. I took the opportunity to open a new office location for the 88th representative, and I'm just on the north end of Decatur on Ash Avenue. Okay. So our new formal address is 419 East Ash Avenue.
Say that 5 times
tongue
fast.
Twister. So my staff is there, and I'm there on occasion when we're not in session. So we'd love people to come by and gather as much information as possible. One of the things I talked about a lot when running for office was a need for our communities to know their legislators and know their elected officials. So having the opportunity to have an office in a convenient location for the 4 counties that I represent, which is Macon, DeWitt, Payette, and McLean. So right there on sort of that intersection of 72 and 51 is a good hub. People to come and ask questions if they're having concerns. They can always call or send an email as well, but just to have that in-person contact and know that that's our job.
Sure.
That's my job as a state representative, is to help people navigate their government, and if they are having things to celebrate or things that are a challenge, I hope they'll come and share them with us.
Sure. And diving right in already, tell me this story.
Yeah, so I did have a constituent call me. Obviously, we have been in Springfield a couple days. At the ramp up, we're really there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I had a gentleman call my office with a concern. He owns a snowplow business and has been doing it for about 30 years. And in the last several years, he has been party to lawsuits over accidents, perhaps a slip. And so it appears that not only has the business been taken to court, but also he's been named as a defendant as well, as being the company that clears the snow and ice for parking lots or walkways. And so we had a conversation about it. I told him it was actually the last possible day for filing legislation. So I got right to the team in Springfield, which I have to give a huge shout out to. They are an amazing group that's obviously been working at this a long time. So really just starting with, has this concern been brought forth to the legislation before? And he has, my bill drafter was talking about how it is in place for individual residences, but not a business. So we took the time and wrote through the language, and I have filed a bill now as a result of this constituent. So it's pretty exciting. It is House Bill 2916. And so, it starts in the Rules Committee, and then we'll go out from there. But it was really a nice way to understand this is what our job is to address those concerns. And so I was glad that we were able to quickly get something. And now it'll be my job to work among my colleagues to gain support for the bill if it's signed to a particular committee, to then see if we can get a subject matter hearing on it. Hopefully this gentleman would be willing to come and testify about his experience. And, if there's going to be some pushback, that's all right too, but
sure,
we'll work through the process.
Yeah, awesome. That's great stuff. So diving right in with that one. That's awesome.
I mean, we're here to serve, and so I'm glad that he called. I'm glad that we could turn that around, and so I would welcome any opportunity for people to contact me. I've gotten a number of emails. My email is deering@ilhousegop.org if you'd like to contact me. There have been other bills that are starting to come through, so people have let me know that, for example, they're against a House bill that's called the Homeschool Act. We have a number of homeschooling parents and families in our communities, and they like to keep that independence. So
now, what's the bill about? What's going on there?
The bill is about many things. It's like 35 pages long.
Okay.
But it's primarily requiring that homeschooling families then register with their local public schools. And so one of the things Illinois has been celebrated for is having the freedom for parents to educate their children at home. So there are a number of stipulations in there that are encroaching on that freedom for families to do what's best for their children. So I've been reading through the bill. I will obviously talk to the three sponsors on the other side of the aisle that have sponsored the bill to have a conversation about my constituents' concerns and their priorities. It's still in the Rules Committee, so it hasn't been assigned yet. I assume to the Education Committee is where it will go.
Yeah.
Then there's been emails about a passionate group for the University of Illinois Extension Service. They're asking for a budget increase from $10 million to $20 million.
Wow.
I absolutely appreciate everything that the extension offices do. They're right there in our communities. They're working with schools. They're working with 4-H clubs, et cetera, and really educating people in a unique way. I will have to say we are facing a $3.2 billion with a B dollar shortfall in the next fiscal year's budget. So a lot of the conversations are going to be hard.
Yeah.
We have been instructed by the majority party to essentially take on the mantra that we're looking at expecting, less, even planning for the same, but expecting less, just because as a fiscal conservative, we do need to be responsible with our money. So we need to cut some spending. And that's going to be hard because there are people at the end of those dollars.
Right.
And there's a lot of money in the budget. We have the largest budget in state history. So there's just going to have to be some tough choices. But I absolutely appreciate people writing me and telling me their concerns. There's just a lot of everything out there. There's over 2,000 bills, I think, to be considering. And if anyone listening wants to go online, ilga.gov is the state's government website, and you can search bills in totality. You can search bills by member. So if you click on my name as a House member, then you can click on what bills I have proposed. Also, what committees we've been assigned to.
Okay.
So a breadth of information there available to you if you've got some free time and you're interested. To be able to contact your legislators.
Sure. That's State Rep Regan Deering, our guest in studio for this morning. Regan, I want to revisit the homeschool legislation. While autonomy for families and parents to educate kids as they see fit, I think is like you said, celebrated in Illinois. I did have some friends that did the homeschooling thing during COVID, and one thing that I kept hearing was there's not a lot of accountability in terms of like our kids, meeting like state standards or guidelines and things like that. Is that at all like maybe where this bill is headed that you were talking about?
As for why it was drafted originally?
Yeah,
I do think that there are proposed concerns from those that drafted the bill about just knowing where the kids are.
Sure.
If they're registered in school, I think one of their primary concerns is that children aren't being educated. Perhaps there's a home life that's not as structured as many in the homeschooling community. I do think, knowing about curriculum, knowing about standards is something that our public schools is very driven on.
Right.
And obviously we want our students to be well educated for the future, whether that's continuing school or the workforce, et cetera. So I do think that that's probably where some of it stems from.
Right.
It just becomes a gray area,
Sure,
I think, when you start to mandate and you start to control. But hopefully there can be things flushed out. The best we can do with a bill that we don't care for or we have concerns with is to talk about how we can amend the bill. In coming into the legislature, many of my Republican colleagues have talked about how we make bad bills better. The bill is likely going to pass if it gets out of committee. We are in a super minority as far as the Republican Party. So out of 118 members in the Illinois State House, 78 of them are Democrat, 40 of them are Republican. And the minimum number to pass a bill is 60. So if we want to, quote, kill a bill or we want to stop something, we have to find 21 Democrats who would agree not to support that piece of legislation.
Hard to do in this political environment.
It is a challenge for sure. But, one of the things that I think we all recognize is that we're working for our districts, and we need to continue to have conversations about where people are coming from, what their priorities, what their constituents would like. Chicagoland or the western suburbs of Chicago is very different than rural, Piatt County, for example, which I represent. So, being able to kind of talk outside the dome, if you will, to those members and think about where we're all coming from, I think is really critical.
Sure. The other thing you mentioned there, Regan, was the budget, and of course that massive shortfall that we're facing. You talk about making bad legislation better, but oftentimes when it comes to the budget, Republicans are just completely shut out from the process, and it just kind of gets ramrodded through. How about that?
Yeah, we absolutely are. And, the Governor Pritzker's own Office of Management and Budget has come out with this report that revenues are, going to fall short and that our spending is still remains high. So this is part of his own team that is alerting everyone. At least we've been alerted early. So we've got the next 6 months to try and, really 5 now, to try and work back some of that legislation.
So what do you foresee then? I mean, is there conversation about what the budget may look like?
We'd like to be part of the conversation, as you pointed out.
Sure.
Republicans are not included, even though we do have a member that is the highest ranking Republican on the budget committee, and so we are supposed to have a voice, but that doesn't always happen. And I think that the state of Illinois is ready for an honest conversation about our tax dollars. Certainly, the national conversation has lended itself to people being more aware of what our tax dollars are being spent on. The Trump administration and their Department of Government Efficiency has really highlighted many of the places that we are finding waste. And so many a commentary to me has been Illinois needs, a similar
sure.
department. I actually will be sitting on the appropriations committee for general funds, which is a lot of those extra funds that aren't education or Medicare, et cetera, and so pensions that are constitutionally protected. So we do need to find areas there that we can try and reduce spending, be more efficient, et cetera. So I think that Republicans must have a seat at the table there.
Very good. Well, Regan, I'll tell you what, let's break here. Come back, talk some more. Regan Deering, state rep, in studio with us this morning. More to come with her on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
Today.
Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLawes Yonke. Slightly higher opening has turned lower for soybeans and wheat. Corn still up about a penny. March up 1 3/4, 4.89 1/4. May up 1 1/2, 5.02. July up 1, 5.05 1/2. March soybeans down 1 3/4, 10.47 3/4. May down 1 3/4, 10.63 3/4. July down 1 3/4, 10.79 1/4. March wheat down 5 1/4, 5.77 1/2. KC down 4 1/2, 5.99 3/4. Higher for livestock. April lean hogs up 20, 92.35. April live cattle up 152, 198.30. March feeders up 175, 266.65. Crude oil up 74 cents. The Dow up 129. RFD Radio Network.
Now there's one web portal for local agriculture radio programming in central Illinois.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Local farm programming streamed live and archived to hear anytime.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Hear the morning and noon farm shows with local agriculture news and interviews.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Plus, hear all of your favorite agriculture farm shows, including RFD Illinois, AgriTalk, RFD Today, and the Closing Market Report.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
It's agriculture grown locally, streamed live, and archived to hear anytime.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
A service of the Miller Media Group.
Scott Baum here from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. Search our big selection of pre-owned cars and trucks by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. It's time to make those resolutions.
Getting into shape by playing chess?
No, like saving money to buy a house.
Thinking makes me sweat.
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
Make your resolution a reality by clicking the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW. WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Regan Deering, state rep in studio with us here for this morning. And Regan, as we talk for today, you mentioned getting acclimated in Springfield. What has that process been like? I mean, do you have to go through like a training? Do they have initiation classes per se? What's that look like for you?
Yes, they absolutely have training. So we have several new members, both Republicans and Democrats, this General Assembly. So we've come together and had several days at the Capitol through some bipartisan effort to really just talk about what kinds of things we're facing, like the bill drafting process, the budget, taking a look at lobbyists and what factor that might have to you. Some of your even just basic paperwork and arranging your office and what staff is assigned to you, how you hire staff in your district offices. So yes, we have had lots of hours taking a look at how to, on paper, be a great legislator.
Gotcha.
So now it's putting those steps in motion. You know,
Yeah.
the binders are thick.
Sure.
The binders
manuals are thick. Yep.
Yes, but staff has been wonderful.
Do you hire your own staff? Is that passed on to you? What does that look like?
It can be a little bit of both. I feel very fortunate in that the district office here in Decatur, I have rehired Missy Wooters, who has been a chief of staff for former Representative Bill Mitchell, former Representative Dan Calkins, and now myself. So she is a wealth of knowledge and really knows how to navigate the state agencies. And so I have really leaned on her quite a bit to be able to say, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. You know, what's the best way to do that? Sure. And so she is present in the district office Monday through Friday. So again, if people want to see her in the Capitol, we are assigned a legislative assistant. They usually have 3 members, so kind of that are in the same area for their offices. I have a wonderful legislative assistant in Megan. So if you call my Springfield office, she will be happy to help you. And then we are given a district allowance, if you will. So the money allocated to each member covers things like rent, utilities if necessary, other staff, like if you would like to have an outreach coordinator, that's something that I'm going to take on as well. We have a big district, so thinking about being closest to the people and knowing how you can get in front of them.
Sure.
We can have traveling office hours, et cetera.
Sure.
Then also on the state side, we are assigned a communications staffer. So they run our stateside Facebook page and website, help us draft press releases. We're talking right now about a summer reading program. So for all of the K-12 schools in our 88th district, we're arranging a reading program for kids to participate in. And then we also have a legislative bill drafter, as I was mentioning earlier in our talk. They have been working at this for years. So many people have said, well, what kind of bills are you going to draft? I said, well, I think I might just go to that great big drawer of Republican ideas that have never made it out of the Rules Committee and just pick up a few that I think align with my goals. And we've done some of that following Representative Calkins' ideas and a few others that have been picked up and just haven't made it anywhere per se. So
Gotcha.
as I mentioned earlier, it's our job to advocate for our bills and gain support. We have to have 60 votes to be able to pass a bill, and there are 40 Republicans. So even if all of my colleagues agree that it's a brilliant idea, I need to go across the aisle and
find 20 more
and gain 20 more. That's exactly right.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's a wonderful setup to be able to do our jobs well.
Sure. Well, and it's one thing to campaign and sell yourself over that 6 or 7 months that you were, and then it's quite the other to, of course, have to go out and then answer to all the things going on in Springfield. So how about just being in your district? What do you have planned, and how do you plan to be kind of participate and be present in your district?
Sure. Well, the interesting thing about representatives is that we run every 2 years. So while the election was in November and we're sworn in January, if you can believe it, starting this September, we have to start with petitions again to get on the ballot. Excuse me. So while we are serving in an official capacity, we are also still campaigning and hoping to earn re-election. So in my mind,
So maybe it's simultaneous.
yes,
then.
in my mind they go hand in hand because the people have elected me, and now it's my responsibility to do the job they elected me for. So when we're not in session in the Capitol, like this week, we're in district. So I will be in my district office, and I'll also be attending meetings and events throughout the 88th district, trying to circle back to small town mayors, and county board members, visiting schools, small businesses, giving people the opportunity to continue to showcase what they're doing well here in Central Illinois and how we can also make things easier for them.
Gotcha.
I was a small business owner myself, and so I have a passion for making sure that Illinois continues to be a great place to do business. We do often hear that we're overtaxed and we're overregulated. So how can we work through the legislature to ease some of that burden and make Illinois continuing to be a great place to do business?
Do you mind if I ask? Have you made fast friends in Springfield? I mean, is there a lawmaker or two that you've connected with and will lean on in the months ahead?
Fast friend? I don't know about fast friends.
Okay.
I mean, there are some that I've known on the trail, which has been great. I was assigned a mentor, Representative Amy Ellick. She's from southwest of here near Edwardsville.
Okay.
I think she's in her third term. And so she's my seatmate and has continually kept in conversation with me about how things are operating on the floor or, what might be an important idea for my district, et cetera. So just navigating the process has been great that they do buddy each new member up with someone. Certainly those around me, my colleague under our senator. So if people aren't aware, every state senator has two representatives that they cover under them. So our state senator is Sally Turner. And so my counterpart is Bill Howder. He actually covers Clinton, where we are right here in this studio.
He's coming in on Monday.
Oh,
or
fantastic.
on Wednesday. Sorry, today's Monday. Yeah. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
So he's nearby. I have Brandon Schweitzer nearby. Brad Halbrook is just south of me.
Yeah, sure.
Chris Miller's to the east. We have a really nice, solid Republican area here in Central Illinois working for our constituents. So,
are you situated in Springfield where like these people are close and you can just like walk over or something like that?
Yeah, the chamber is very manageable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in a row of about 5 of us, I think. And then, there's an aisle on the Republican side of the aisle, too. So when we're not being called to vote on things, there's plenty of time for mingling and getting to know. Some of them up near Chicago I have met, which has been nice. We've been included in dinners to kind of just get to know each other. And
Gotcha.
obviously spending time in caucus, we get to know about each other's personalities and priorities, so that's been nice.
Sure.
It's good to just get to know them as people as well.
Right, exactly. Well, Regan, I hate to do this to you. I got to let you go. Best way for folks to contact your office or learn about what you've got going on?
Yes, so my email is deering@ilhousegop.org. Our website is repdeering. Oh, man. I
Maybe
need to
Google
get better.
it.
Yeah, Google it.
There you
Google
go.
State Rep Regan Deering. And
Very
call
good.
my office at any time. Happy to serve.
Regan Deering, State Rep, our guest in studio. More to come, or network news, rather, on the way on the morning
The
show.
Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM, W222 BG Clinton, 106.5 FM,